Shalom. First, I start off by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakash. Double honor to the teachers, elders, apostles, great most son, like God's brothers, with the truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep and deep brothers and sisters. And again, Shalom. Today's lesson is titled, The Ones They Fear, Righteous, Unmovable Man of Yahweh Shai. Now, you've seen this little clip I have here that I created in AI. Now, I have four posters here, okay? Starting from the right, you have the Department of Correction Jake. You have the Hip Hop Jake, or the Entertainer Jake. You have the Smart Jake. And then you have the Righteous, Unmovable Man of Yahweh Shai. Now, you probably, if you're old enough, you'll probably hear about, the most feared black man or so-called black man to the so-called white man is an educated brother. That is so far from the truth. You're learning from his system. Whenever he wants to, he can put you into his system, the Department of Corrections, to correct you. And also, we know that the entertainment industry, is manipulated by the small hats. So basically, Esau has leverage over all of these individuals, but he doesn't have leverage on the man of the Lord. Let's go now for a scripture here. This is the book of Ezekiel 37 hours 9. It reads, Then said he unto me, Prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, Thus said the Lord power, Come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded, and breath came into them, and they lived, and stood upon their feet, an exceeding great army. Now it's not the army of the world, where, you have guns and, grenades and tanks and all of that stuff. No, it's an army of righteous people, okay? The man of the Lord job is to go and to prophesy to the people of the Lord, Yahweh Shai. And given the population, which we don't have a number, of the children of Israel, which can be counted as a grain of sand, this is going to be very scary to these elites. And it is happening as we speak right now. They are in great fear, because the prophets are out on the highway in the Bible on this unicorn, doing as commanded, prophesying. We are no longer in deep sleep. In fact, let's go into Revelation 11 and verse 11 reads, And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from power entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Now, why are they going to be fearful? Well, once you're awake, once the Spirit of the Lord comes into his people, you're no longer going to go there and do the acts so that Esau can put you in his correctional facilities. You're not going to lean on the education system of Great Babylon America, only to be disappointed. And you sure as hell are not going to sell out the way some of the brothers, of the children of Israel, and we can name a few, P. Diddy, Mike Tyson, Magic Johnson. These are all sellouts, They've sold themselves for a few dollars more. So they've been compromised. So this fear comes on them because imagine you cannot manipulate or control a set of people that you've had in oppression, slavery, giving them your laws, your God, who they call Jesus Christ, and basically you've set up all kinds of snare across this earth so you can entrap them. When you look at the diet, for example, everything is an abomination to eat. This man put pig juice or pig fat into everything, from the deodorant to the lipstick, everything, to try to defile us so that we are not worthy, of the Lord Yahweh Shai delivering us. But he's losing. This is Ecclesiastes 12 and 10, because we, as doing as commanded, we spread the word. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. We have identified Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man, as wicked. And we say it boldly. We don't cover our faces. We don't disguise our voice. We don't hide our IP address. We don't hide our address. They know exactly who we are. And we spread it across the earth. In fact, now the earth is actually realizing the wicked are the so-called white people, or the so-called white man. Now imagine, you know, you're being identified as the devil that the Bible speaks of. You're being constantly pointed out in the Bible that you swear on when you become president, or you swear on when you go into the court system, or that you use to indicate that you are blessed by God, with might and power and plenty. But yet still, the same book that you're using to endorse yourself to manipulate the world is also the same book that the prophets use to show the whole world that you are in fact what the Bible speaks of, that you are the sons and daughters of the wicked, and you're going to meet your end at the destruction of the great destruction that's going to be coming upon your kingdom when the Mashiach returns. In fact, let's go to 1 John 2, and verse 15 reads, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world." We'll pause there for a second. Okay, if you're a hip hop person in the entertainment industry, that's basically lust and pride of life. You like the fame, you like the adoration, you like to be shaking hands with these Edomites. Same thing too. If you graduate from one of these prestigious school, you might climb up the corporate ladder. Okay, and of course. If you're trying to pursue all these things but you fall short of it, most likely you're more likely to fall into mischief, which is going to put you in his system, the Department of Corrections. But this does not apply to the elect. This does not apply to the prophets. This does not apply, to that exceedingly great army that stood upon the feet, because the spirit of life is in them from the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai. It reads, "And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of power abideth forever." Let's go into 1 Peter 5 and verse 8, because this is what really they fear. Yeah, okay, and Esau already know the deal. He's been warned by the Lord Yahweh Shemashai not to touch his anointed and do his prophets no harm. He knows about that. Okay, but they will be allowed to make that attempt, and the Lord has a surprise for them. But let's go into this here. This is 1 Peter 5, verse 8. It reads, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, the so-called white man, as a roaring lion, walking about seeking whom he may devour." He uses his prestige, his power, his ability to write you a nice check, change your life, exalt you on television or on the big screen. And this is what these are the ones fall for, and it ends up in mischief. But you look at the Department of Corrections chief on the screen, look at Puff Daddy. He's now a part of the Department of Corrections, even though he was a rapper, music mogul, okay, and also a graduate, okay, of a nice school. Yeah, so he represents these three smaller cards here. So it didn't work out well for him. He got devoured. It says, "Whom resist steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world." So because he has no leverage on us, and we understand that each of us, okay, dispersed geographically across Great Babylon, America, are going through the same hell, then we're not sitting around and pondering like, "Gee, am I the only one that's catching hell?" No, we are all being challenged, okay, taken through the fire of adversity, okay, to be cleansed. That's part of this walk. And Esau, understanding that we understand that, knows that he cannot get into the heads or the minds of the men that are righteous and unmovable. Okay, this is John 12 and verse 35. It reads, "Then Yahushua said unto them, Yet a little while is the light with you. Walk while ye have the light, lest darkness come upon you. For he that walketh in darkness knoweth not whither he goeth. While ye have light, believe in the light, that ye may be the children of light." Okay, so we pray to Yahweh Shema Shai that he guide us. Okay, we're not, trying to maneuver our way and do it our way, because if we do it our way, we always gonna end up doing it incorrectly. That's the reason why we had to be awakened out of that deep sleep that we were in. When we talk about Black, African Americans, Caribbean Americans, Bahamian, Jamaicans, Haitian, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Still looking at the global map for that little country in Africa, on the continent of Africa. Maybe we came from here. It's that lies that we were fed. We didn't know we were Yasharala, okay? Prince of the power. This is 1 Thessalonians 5, starting with verse 1. It reads, "But of the times and the season, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So we don't buy into Esau, his talk of peace, I'm going to do better for y'all. We've already seen, over and over Jake March for solidarity. That don't work. They march for equal rights. That don't work. They're trying to somehow appease to this doggone devil to be equal to him when in fact we are far greater than him. And see, we know it. And that's why we preach it. Why in the hell are we bowing down to an insignificant abomination that was created for destruction? And that is our word and our message. We are of a higher power than Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man. It says, but ye brethren are not in darkness, that the day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are the children of light and the children of day, and we are not of night nor of darkness. So we don't walk around with our head up our ass like the rest of these people on this earth in fear. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Let's go to the book of Revelation 12 and 12, because this is the state where Esau is in right now, and this is why they're in that great fear. Because one of the things that we were told to do is to chant down Great Babylon America, to preach about the destruction of America. And from the looks of things in the news, America is right on that path, right on schedule to destruction. It reads, therefore rejoice ye heaven, and ye that dwell in them, which is us. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Okay, the rest of these people, they have hope, future, 5-year plan, 10-year plan. I'm going to retire. No, you're not. This doggone devil is going to be moved to his place. And in his place, on a righteous kingdom, in a righteous kingdom is going to be the Mashiach and the 130 elect, okay, with the 12 apostles and King David. But leading up to that, this man has no love for you people on this earth. And we know it. He has no love for us, and we know it, nor do we care. Because why? We know he has great fear of us. Esau fear each and every brother that stands on the highway and the byway in righteousness with no guile. I'm not talking about these phony camps that preach this gospel as it's supposed to be preached. He fear us, not the other way around. So the question is, who do they fear the most? Well, you got the message. Lord willing, like what's edified, let the close up, give an awkward honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Takadash, Shalom.